studios. This is Perspective with Josephine Karunji.
A very good evening and a warm welcome from wherever you are watching. We are coming to you live from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room. And tonight we are having a conversation around HIV/AIDS. Now, every 1st December, the world marks World AIDS Day. And this year it was under the theme, Everybody Counts. Statistics from the World Health Organization show that there are 36.7 million people living with HIV, and these were statistics that were collected at the end of 2016. In mid-2017, 20.9 million people living with HIV were receiving antiretroviral therapy globally. In 2016, 1 million people died from HIV-related causes globally. AIDS-related deaths have almost halved since 2005. Well, that's setting the stage for our conversation this evening. Let me introduce my guests and we'll start off. And I'll start with you, Deborah Letitia Kumu. She's a peer educator and a teacher. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Right. And we're joined by a family. Barbara Kemigisa Katabazi came along with her daughter, Courtney Mata Darlene. Hi, Courtney. And her husband, Michael Katabazi Messiah. Welcome. Thank you very much. Are you activists and innovators as well?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Thank you, Josephine.
Well, let's say it as it is. Let's begin the show.
Is brought to you by Sparkle Saloon. Professional, affordable, and quality services.
Welcome back once again. We're coming to you live from the Kampala Serena Conference Center. So I want us to know your stories before we even have the conversation. I don't know who would like to start, Deborah, or would you like to start? Deborah, you start.
Oh, wow. Good evening, everybody. I'm Akum Deborah Letitia. I'm a teacher by profession. I'm one of the young people living with HIV, born and living with HIV in Uganda. I was born with HIV. My mother was HIV positive, so I was infected through birth.
Okay.
Life hasn't been so easy, but when you cope up the challenges, I've experienced stigma and discrimination in some way or the other at school. I used to take my medication, and my fellow students used to see me taking my medication, and they used to ask, why am I taking my medication? And one of them had a relative who had died who used to take the same medication that I used to take, and she knew that that person was HIV positive. So she exposed me to everyone, and I was discriminated and stigmatized.
What do you mean she exposed you to it? She went and told everybody?
Yes, actually she used to tell my fellow pupils at school, Deborah is HIV positive. So these people used to not share with me. Actually, it reached a point whereby they didn't want to enter the bathroom that I've entered in, and I was in a boarding school. So she told everyone around school, and she did it when I was not around. I had gone for my clinic day, and I used to go out of the school almost every week because I used to fall sick a lot.
At about what age were you then?
I was around 10 to 11 years around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is when she exposed me to stigma and discrimination in the school.
Well, I'm curious to know how you dealt with that at such a young age, but let's first hear, Barbara, your story.
My name is Barbara Kemigisa Katabazi. I'm a mother, a wife. Actually, I don't know. These days, I'm called Mama Buchupa.
Because yes,
you find me around ARV bottles. Everything I talk about is ARVs. So yeah, but I'm very passionate about young people living with HIV. I'm inspired by real life stories because these have actually helped me to be the person I am today and to do the things I do today. So if you see me with big earrings full of pills, just know that's what I realized people need. They're asking, what do ARVs look like? And
then you're showing them.
Let me just have them on my earrings, and then when they ask, these are ARVs.
Oh, but how did you get to the Barbara that we see now?
Well, it started with testing HIV positive, and me, I said, God, I pray that whatever my status is, help me to use it for your glory. So ever since that, I've never felt shy to share my story, but above all, having met many other young people at my clinic, Infectious Diseases Institute, taking ARVs and in a very sorry state, I realized someone needed to step out and maybe be a voice, be an example for others to see that, you know what, living with HIV may not be a bed of roses, but it is something that if you work towards living a better and healthy life, you can get to it. Because right now, persisting, trusting God to live my life positively has led me to be the person I am today. I'm married. We are 2 years in marriage with my husband, and we have an HIV negative son who is 1 year old. And we have that latest innovation in the HIV fight that so many countries are coming to look at, because they are amazed. They never knew that something would come out of the ARV bottles.
So I'm going to come back to the bottles. I'd just like to first know a bit more about your story. So you said you started your campaigns after testing HIV positive. Letitia says she found out you were born with HIV.
Yeah.
So how does your story play out?
I cannot say I know who infected me, but I started sex at the age of 6 by my uncles. And at 6 years, you're told sex is a good thing. So my mind was played around with, and I learned to play sex. As I grew up into a little girl, adolescenthood, I could have sex with anyone that wanted, because to me, I didn't look at it as a bad thing, and it had no emotions attached to it. As long as someone wanted sex, I'd give it. Got pregnant at 15 years, and life went on. So, but I tested in 2008, and that's when I found out I was HIV positive. I was pregnant, but surprisingly, the father to my daughter, I tested when I was carrying her. So, but her dad is HIV negative. So she's from my previous relationship.
Okay.
Those ends, yeah. So, but yeah, I cannot really say who infected me, because I had so many partners.
Well, she's sitting very prim and proper and upright. Courtney, you were asking for water earlier. Was that to take your medicine?
Yeah.
Okay. How often do you take your medicine?
Like once in the morning
Okay.
and once in the evening.
Okay. So you had a lot of explaining to do to Courtney at some point in her life.
You know, like I said, I tested carrying her. We've gone through lots of things together. We've slept on the street. We've had to make really important decisions. But one of the, because as a single mother struggling, I found myself going with her wherever I was. So she has started seeing me share my story, well, as little as 1 year old. So she has my story like at her fingertips. You know, there are times when she would tease me. She would be like, "Mommy, they used to call you Chibaf," you know, those kind of things, and how did it feel, you know? But that way, she also learned to take her medicine, because I practically had to change my time for medication to her time, so that she can know that we do it together. So along the way, questions would keep coming in, and I'll tell her, yes, we are HIV positive, and once we are HIV positive, we have to take medicine. So, you know, that kept pushing her to a point that you'd find her seated with kids and she's telling them about HIV. And today she's a powerful musician.
Oh, wow. Courtney, are you going to sing for us at some point? You are? Okay. At some point, she was telling me about the activism work she does in her school, in her class. How did you get to start doing that, Courtney?
I started when I had like one friend, and I went on getting friends. So I learned how to take care of them. Some of them I take them to class.
Okay.
But they're all having special needs.
They all have special needs. So do your friends ask you about the medicine you swallow?
They can't talk.
They can't talk? Oh, they have the special needs, they cannot talk. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, her school, most of the children have special needs.
Okay.
Dawn Children's Center. So most of the kids have special needs, and she has been there since baby class. She has grown up taking care of them, you know, and they're her best friends actually. Okay. So that's why she's so passionate about making sure every child is happy, is friendly, and
She's in line with this year's theme, everybody counts.
yeah, true.
Okay. Well, Courtney insisted on coming for the show, so she wanted to come and tell her story as well, and that's why we have her tonight. So she might look a little sleepy, but she's happy to be here. I wanted to find out from you, Letitia, when you found out that you were at what age did you go and test?
I didn't test. There is a system that the government had brought. It is in research. It's called Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmission. It is PMTCT in short. So that is where my mother tested when she was pregnant.
Okay.
And she got to know that she was HIV positive. And then she passed on the virus to me when she was giving birth to me in the late 90s, 1990s.
So at what age did you come to understand?
I came to understand, actually, my mother, before she passed on, but before her passing on, she made me enter a psychosocial group called the Muji Young Generation Alive group. It is in Molago. So I used to go there every Saturday. But then this group is a youth, children-led group, though we have some mentors around. So one of the child who was aged above us was our chairperson, and so she had to speak about telling us how to take our medication well. So she came out and said, you people, you need to take our medication well. But then she spoke out, because we are living HIV positive. That is when I came to know that I was living HIV positive. I used to take medication back in the years, but I didn't know that I was HIV positive. You know, HIV is very funny. You're fine, but then you have to take the medication every day.
Yeah.
And the hours that you've been told by your doctor. So I used to take my medication, but I didn't know that I was HIV positive.
So when you found out, what went through your mind? What were you thinking?
I really felt so shocked. I was like, really, all this group of people is full of HIV? I felt so bad, but then I had that support that we are all the same, because we are very many children living in that group. We are around 200 plus.
Wow.
So when I looked at all these children, by then we were still young, I was really comforted, and I'm like, I'm not alone. At least there are other people living the same way I am, and they're taking medication like me. So I continued on with my life, and actually it supported me a lot. It gave me a lot of courage, because I remember I used to disturb my grandmother to give me medication. But then when I knew that, I used to go to her and tell her, Grandma, it's time.
It's time. Welcome back. We're coming to you live from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room, and tonight we're talking about HIV and AIDS. Well, you're a despondent couple. So, Michael, this is for you. How do you deal? How do you handle? What has been your experience?
My name's Isaiah Kitabazi Michael. I'm married to a positive wife. I'm not positive, I'm negative. Yeah, we are a disconnect couple. There are many people like us, but our difference is, for me, I married her knowing that she was HIV positive. She told me at the first time, so I decided to marry her. Yeah.
You weren't afraid, you did.
It wasn't easy, but she told me at the first time, then I gained my strength. Okay. That she has told me the first time she can protect me forever, because for her she didn't thought about the wedding, about what's going to happen, about the life, about the love, but she was protecting me. She told me at the first time, you know, you love me, but for me I'm positive. It's you. So I told her, we proceed, I'll marry you.
Was that immediate? Did you have to think about it?
Yeah, it was immediate, because I was praying, asking God for a wife to marry, and that was a moment when I got her, because she's a prayerful woman. We used to pray in the same cell, and we fellowship together in the cell. She was my friend, and I got that confirmation that she was the right woman. Though she had positive was not an issue, but a wife to marry, a good
Prayer
wife.
changes everything.
Changes everything. Okay, so you met her and Courtney together.
Yes.
Okay, so what's it been like for you when people find out?
it wasn't easy because my parents told, we had a conversation with my parents about because when she told me she was positive, I went home and I told my dad, my uncle, I was staying with my uncle, and I told him that I was going to marry a positive wife. For him, he didn't like it. Yeah, he told me some words, and I went back and talked with Barbara about those words. She calls whenever she's speaking out there.
Let me say it. How do you how do you go to the market? You choose a rotten avocado, yet there are those nice ones. And he said he would still go for his rotten avocado.
How do you even say that now and you're laughing about it?
No,
because I'm married. Yeah.
Look at me. I don't look rotten in any way. So I'm fresh, and even more fresh than someone who is not HIV negative. So, you know, certain things.
So how did you get to a place where you can deal with the stigma, where people say things and they don't faze you? How did you get here?
Now, I think that's one of the decisions I had to make before coming out public. The first thing was to know what God says about me, not what people say about me. If I'm fearfully and wonderfully made and God has good plans for me, I must pursue God's good plans for me, not people's plans for me. Isaiah 60:15 clearly says, though I have been hated and rejected so that no man goes through me, he will make me an everlasting pride, a joy of many generations. Nobody's going to change that.
Okay, and the audience is clapping for you. Somebody had a question for you, so let's take that question. What was, who? Yes, your question.
Well, thank you. My name is Michael, and my question goes to Barbara. How did you meet up with Michael, and how did you really have the courage and confidence to explain to him your status?
Now, since the man has to look, he had better say, how did you look for me?
Michael?
Yeah, she was looking lovely and beautiful. Then, I asked her to marry her. Then she told me she was positive. So because of the love I had, I proceeded and married her. Yeah, it's all about love, what you love. So we've been together now is 2 years, and I'm HIV negative. She has protected me. So now I have the confidence and the strength.
Well, Barbara, you missed a bit. One of the questions he asked was how you got the confidence. How did you begin to actually say, look, I am HIV positive?
Yeah. Now, you know, like I said, when I tested positive, I told God, HIV stops with me. I'm going to make sure, irrespective of what I'm going through, I'm not going to sleep with a man because of these things they promise. I'm going to protect every man. Whoever comes, I'll tell them my status. You either go or stay. So even if you came with cars or what, the first thing is I'm HIV positive.
Okay, so we want to know how this discussion played out.
So many men came because I tested in 2008. I met him in 2014. So along that way, all the newspapers, magazines that I featured in, I pinned them on my wall. Okay. Like I had a whole wall full of these things. So these guys that did not believe that I'm positive, I'd actually invite them in the house. When you come out, let me go get you something to drink. And of course, you'll be entertained because it was a small, tiny room.
You had a lot of things to read while you waited.
So by the time I would come back from buying you a drink, some I would find when they've disappeared. So he had to go through the same procedures. So he wasn't exceptional, so he had to go through the same procedures, much as he looked very hot. But I'd rather let you go than stay with you and start hiding to take my medicine, live under pressure. So I told him, unfortunately, or fortunately, he was like, yeah, me, it's okay, you're still the one. Now I started getting scared. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Then I took him to my counselors at IDI. They gave him counseling. The guy still insisted, you're the one. Now when they chased him from home, when his uncle chased him from home, that's when I realized the guy was serious.
Did you ever think that maybe take him for a check as well?
Yes, when I took him to IDI for counseling, they had to test him and then confirm he's negative, and then they registered us as discordant.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So after 3 months of our meeting, he proposed. Within 1 year, we were married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, let's take the other question. I hope you've been answered. Your question?
Ms. Barbara, my question is, at the age of 6, after that first incident, did you ever open up to someone? Because I believe it was a little bit hurting, or there was some changes you saw. Did you tell someone older than you what had happened?
Okay, at 6 years, the way I was introduced to sex, like at 6-year-old, you just sweet talk something, promise a few things, actually pancakes. You know, you don't have to promise much. Now for the city kids, you can promise ice cream, even ice beam. Yeah, so, so to me, I was introduced to a game. Because sometimes I would tell uncle, let's play the other game. So it wasn't really sex. Only that now when I grew up into adolescenthood, and then school, of course, you get tips of sex and science, that's when I learned it was sex. But then at that point, I'm shy, and it's embarrassing to talk about sex. So I had to die with my secret, and I was already more like used to that game, and I just kept on playing it. So,
do you explain these things to Courtney? Do you explain to her that there's some games that are not games?
Yes, actually, there are so many things we talk about. She said she wanted to get pregnant at 4 years, and then I was like, okay, because she likes taking care of her babies at school. So I was like, what now? You want to get pregnant, but then you cannot take care of yourself. You cannot bathe yourself. I have to feed you. I have to dress you up. Now, see, I do these things for you as your mommy. Now, when you're a mommy to another baby, will you be able to do them for her? She's like, I think, no, let me first wait until I learn how to do these things. So when she gets there, we will also talk about,
You'll talk about every phase as it comes.
So, yeah. So that's how we talk about our things. And she's very open to us. We talk about anything, totally anything.
Okay.
Yeah, by this.
Well, you're a family, and I don't know how your family has been accepting of you. How do you support each other? How do you tell somebody else out there, maybe who has a relative or a friend who is living with HIV, what kind of support can they give them?
Oh, wow. If you have a member in your family who is living HIV positive, the best way you can help that person is to support him or her, take his medication the way he has been directed by his doctor. If it is 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., let it be the exact time. Do not discriminate us we living with HIV, because there are some families that if they find out that one person is living HIV, and actually most of us, the people living with HIV, lost parents, so you have to go in a family of an uncle and auntie to get support. But you'll find yourself that discriminated. You use your cup, you use your plate, you use your everything. That is not the right way they should do to us. Let's use the same plates. I can't infect you with HIV because I've used the same cup, because I've touched you. No. And by the way, don't test with your eyes. Go and test. Take your family for an HIV test. Because you might be stigmatizing me when you don't know that your child has HIV in one way or the other.
Yeah. At
school, maybe he or she used a sharp instrument that an infected person had used. So we just need to support us. You just need to support us by helping us take our medication well. Encourage us more. Advise us where it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, the same for you, yes.
Yeah,
Barbara.
to add on that, we need love. You know, there are some people who will just tell you, take your medicine, need a dagger, you know, those kind of things, but the way they say it is really terrible, you know. to the point that this child, instead of loving to take their medicine, they hate it the more. But they're being told, you know, take your medicine. I think we need love. We need to be given equal opportunities like every other child in the house. Because some families, actually most of the young people I'm now receiving, they are being treated as if they are going to die. They are made useless. Some call crying. They're like, I wish there is a place I can just escape to get out of this noise I'm in for at least 1 week, you know? And then they're just there like, they make you do a lot of housework. We are quickening your death. If you're in school, they stop paying your school fees.
After all, you're going to die.
After all, you're going to die. Or maybe you're a disgrace. How do you get HIV in my home? You know, such kind of stuff. So we need love. We need equal opportunities like every other child, because we are beyond normal. Honestly, I'm not sick. I'm not short of doing anything. If I can have live sex with my husband for 2 years, we get a child and he's not infected, I think that's the biggest way people are scared of getting HIV. But it is happening now, and we are not the only us. So many people are doing it as long as they are taking their medicine well. So this nonsense of the cab, the taxi, we sit in taxis. You don't test every person that enters the taxi. One day I sat on a boda, and this guy was like, nyabo webale kunyirira. So I told the guy, webale kusima sebo, endagala ndimira bulungi. And the guy was like, okay, I don't know if I should, because the jazz was in Luganda.
Just summarize it for me in English. What did he say?
Yeah, so the guy was like, thank you for looking nice. Then I'm like, thank you for appreciating. I take my medicine very well. Like, which medicine? For HIV. You have serum, you have HIV. I'm like, yes. But I don't like you people. You know, like the guy was so bitter. It's like, get off my border. I thought the guy was joking. He said, let me get you off the middle of the road. I put you like at the side. The guy drove very well, got me off his border, but I just stood by the road and I laughed because that guy made my day.
Is brought to you by
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Welcome back. We're coming to you live from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room. Now, earlier, Courtney, you promised us a song. Was it a song? Was it a rap? Do you want to do it now? Okay, we're listening.
HIV and the killer, but we are for with it every day in self-pity, denial, and lying. All this is stigma. Stigma likely based on the myth and misconceptions of HIV. We need some more awareness for both the infected and affected to gun down HIV, yo.
Hey! Courtney, where did you learn that? Where did you learn it from? Oh, your mom taught you. Okay. Well, Michael, you came in carrying, I don't know if these were flowers for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this. What is it?
It's a flower. It's a flower vase.
Okay.
Inside there's flowers. Yeah. One day she got an idea, and she told me, baby, I've got an idea because I've sold a lot of medicine. It's why you married me, because I sold my medicine well. So she told me that we can do something in these bottles. So she told me that now we don't have money to buy our baby a bed, so we can make a bed in those tins.
So the baby's bed is made out of these tins?
I made it in those tins.
Okay.
So and we started an organization called Pure Power Uganda. This ARV is my power bank for me. ARV is my insurance, because when she swallows her medicine well, I'm also kept well. Okay. Yeah. So we started an organization. We campaign, we teach, we do a lot. We teach people about HIV, and we started those we collected tins from hospitals and we started making different art crafts, like flower vases, chairs, in those
Beds and
bottles.
things.
You need to look at our chairs.
You need to take a picture and send it.
No, you need to sit in
I need to come and say, okay.
Yes. You know,
Okay.
people look at the chair and they're like, can it really hold me? So wherever we go for displays, we get someone with, I won't say the fattest, yeah.
Somebody who is well endowed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This looks quite strong, actually. It's very sturdy. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, but basically why we started that is we want to support young people to take their medication. We've realized that out of the experience, we've realized that many people, especially young people, are no longer scared of HIV. They have no fear factor, to that point that they're saying, I'd rather get HIV than pregnancy.
Get pregnant, yeah.
So we decided we needed something that can scare them, because I understand people don't want to take medicine. But we take medicine for the rest of our lives. And the moment you get HIV, be assured you're going to take ARVs for the rest of your life.
Every day.
Every day. Like we are saying, ARV is my power bank. Just like your phone cannot operate without that power.
The charge,
It's
yeah.
the same thing. We cannot operate without our ARVs. So we do this to show people that that is for 2 years for someone, that flab vest.
Wow.
ARV someone has sold for 2 years and they're still swallowing. I have taken it for 9 years. So that's not even what I have swallowed.
You said something earlier, and I just want to be certain that we got you right. We don't want to give people the impression that now, since us guys can go live and because we are discordant couple, we don't want people to get the impression that it's okay now to just go and live life the way you want.
Okay, now, thank you very much. To clear that, I prepared to have an HIV negative husband. I had to swallow my medicine very, very well for the past 6 years before meeting him. And after swallowing my medicine, telling him I'm HIV positive was not enough. I had to also take him to hospital so that he can know that my viral load is undetectable. I'm safe to have sex with him. That is not something everyone is going to do. You come, we have sex, it's done. I've repeated the word.
Carry on.
Yeah, so, and then people have relationship, they go and test once it's HIV negative, you know, even when they say, okay, you're positive, I'm going to stick with you, they don't follow up to know what is your viral load. Even if you're two positive people, it is very, very important to go and test the viral load. Unless the viral loads are suppressed, these issues are going to keep recurring, the reinfections and the infections. So don't say that because these two people are doing it, we've told you the process we had to go through together. Tell me of people who go through that process. They're very, very few.
They're very few.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
6 months, he goes back
you go
for
for
a
a
test.
test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we sell those flower vases chairs to support people who live with HIV.
Okay.
And we are training.
You're training?
Yeah, we are training. We train in groups of 10 young people. These are more like accountability groups, because we are realizing young people are going through a lot in their families, in their communities, and they need people that understand them. So as we make these bottles, we are talking about what is happening in our lives. And somehow we sell these and we get a financial support so that young people are not desperate, being used because of their conditions. People are taking advantage of us because they think we are in need, you know. So that is not going to happen, because we are going to every health center training young people on how to recycle those things.
Great, great. Well, I'd like to give you, Letitia, an opportunity to just give us your final thought on this. Well, first of all, where do you think Uganda is in the fight against HIV? And then you can summarize your final thoughts.
Uganda is taking the lead in the whole of Africa and the whole of the world in the fight against HIV. We have few infections during birth, and we're having few infections, new infections amongst adolescents and the older people, because we people living with HIV right now, I'm 21 years, but I'm taking my medication well and I'm suppressed. Suppressed means the virus is not seen in the blood, in my blood. It is dormant. It is not working. So that really gives me a smile. That's why when you see me speaking about it, I really feel so proud. Then I would conclude by saying a lot of young people, a lot of people say, me to get HIV, I rather die, I rather get cancer, I rather get pregnant, but you don't know the task it takes to take your medication. I've grown up taking medication. I started taking medication when I was 7 years, as in primary 1, till to that I'm taking medication. It is so hectic. You're fine, and then you have to take the medicine. You feel you're fine, nothing is harming you, but 7 a.m. you have to take your medication, 7 p.m. you have to take your medication. So it is so hectic. Test before you go on with any person. Don't test with your eyes and say, hey, Letitia is so fine. A lot of people say Letitia is so fine, but I'm not. I'm having HIV in my blood. Yes. I'm moving with it every now and then.
Okay.
Test your family hall. Go and tell your friends to test. Test everyone who is near you and know how they are standing and support them. There is option B+. When you test HIV positive, immediately they switch you to ARVs.
Okay.
Immediately.
And well, you guys are testimony that we can leave.
Don't be deceived by that look.
Yes, but
yeah.
we can leave this long. All right. Well, thank you very much. I know she's dying to run somewhere, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us and share your stories very openly. You'd like to say something?
I just wanted to say something.
Oh, but we must run out now. I'm being told we must run out.